Welcome back to the Brandon K Show. I'm your host, as always, Brandon K. This is a real show. So we have a very exciting topic today. The topic is death. And I'm here with a very good friend of mine to talk about the subject of death, Mr. Michael.
The experience.
Mike Myers.
Michael Myers is here. The real one.
Yeah, so before we get into talking about death and life and death's impact on life, I would say that Brandon K Show is brought to you by Giftiply charity wrapping paper. And it's eco-friendly. It's 33% of the proceeds go to charity and use the promo code BK Show to get 25% off. Giftiply wrapping paper all goes to a good cause, 8 different good causes. What do you think of that, Michael?
Brandon K Show here live. And it has cherry, something to do with cherry. That's what stuck out to me. What is it?
Giftiply?
Your calendar?
My calendar?
No, your calendar. You just,
Charity, he said.
It's wrapping paper.
Wrapping paper.
Yeah, it's for Christmas time, yeah.
Calendar.
Michael always makes fun of me for drinking my liquid death. They got a new flavor,
death.
grapefruit.
Grave. That's awesome.
They always have these. They always have like bury it alive. It's berry.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Melancholy, I think.
It was a great idea. It's not as great as this one though.
Monster with the. There's some form of death or conspiracy in that.
Yeah, it'll put you in the grave faster.
There's something going on there with that one. Look, there's Yoda. Look. There.
So, Michael, you have a long history, a history of experience in the funeral industry.
Yep, long.
So you did
long road.
You did a lot of stuff.
It was an undertaking. I can break in with all the jokes that you hear.
It was a big
through all the years. Oh, I got a great one. Okay, I got it.
Are you an undertaker, or that it was?
I was a real mortician, undertaker. Yes.
Okay.
But somebody does everything.
Yeah. So, what made you want to get into that?
It was a calling for sure. Being young, thinking about. Well, basically, yeah. I wanted to know what nothingness was, which would be if the lights are on, you got light, you can see and you can maneuver. And there's a consciousness there. Well, I wanted to know what nothingness was, so I'd got in my room, like 4 years old, really, like 5, somewhere around in there. And I just wanted to know what nothingness was. And so I just got in there and turned the lights out, thinking that the dark room with no lights, that would be my nothingness.
The closest you can
but
get
it wasn't
to,
though, because
the closest you can get to, the closest you can get to
yeah, to the door,
but
to the doorway.
But it wasn't because
it wasn't because I still had a consciousness of the dark room, like I did with the room that had the light, whether it be the artificial light or the sunlight, which is way different.
Yeah.
So they always say, if you want to change something, just go open up the drapes or open up the blinds or roll down your window in your car with limo tint and let the sunlight in, and it changes you. It does I don't know, it's like a gift. The sun is there's a reason why we hear about the sun all the time.
It's kind of like the opposite of the darkness.
Sure. I mean, light, night and day.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to be the two sides, of the same energy.
You had a long history of like meditation and all that stuff. Like, was that also to try to see what nothingness was like, to like meditate to the point of nothingness? Or?
I mean, I know my personal opinion,
yeah,
on what it really is to me, which is all I can really speak of because this is my perspective.
Yes, I'd like to hear your perspective.
And that's all I have. And so through experience, comes a perspective, and that's my truth. So what I've experienced, I didn't have to just have belief. I actually experienced these, I always just say energies up close and personal, very powerful. When you have powerful emotions, you have these powerful purities of energy, which I like to call it a purity because it was it was extremely powerful, but it had to do with living a lot. through you can feel people's love, you can feel people's prayers, you can feel people's anger, you feel people's guilt and grief.
Did you
For real. I mean, I'm super like, I mean, that's empathic levels. I'm empathic on lots of
when
levels.
you're
I
describing
do
this, and
stuff
I
like
think
that.
you started to find things that made sense to you, and purities and energies, and like, did that come to you like once you got into the funeral industry? Like, because you said you were searching for something, and then were you finding it, like working with people and working with bodies and
Yeah, I mean, it was a journey, but like I said, it was definitely a calling, and it is a true ministry of its of energy, I like to call it. 'Cause
Mhm.
everything, is energy, and it all manifests, and I saw it manifest in the human emotions, and what death does to people at young age for sure, or any age, and when you're exposed to anatomy like I have,
Right.
it's not just going learning anatomy. I mean, this is the real,
No,
this is the real thing.
yeah,
We're talking. I've seen every part of the human anatomy on the inside out.
right. Is that
At different times,
is
just
that
because of it's a dangerous
is that
world.
where you started in the industry? Was with
Yeah.
the like starting with learning the anatomy and starting to dress up the bodies, or what do they call it?
No, I started as an apprentice.
Apprentice. What
They
does an
call it
apprentice
that.
do?
You're under the license of a licensed funeral director embalmer, and they're supposed to show you the ropes.
Mhm.
And if anything goes wrong, well, it's on their, you know, it's their liable, which is pretty steep. Steep. You can't just do it under the license
Right. So you're
of the
watching
building.
you're mostly watching for quite a while, or does he let you do stuff right away, or
Well, with me, I went right into it.
yeah.
It was just it was just something that was just, yeah, I was born with. It was just, I used to say it's like Jimi Hendrix on the guitar. I was that way embalming and
Wow.
embalming room. It was just something I could just do, which,
Incredible.
past lives
Right. Like you said,
proof.
a calling, like it just felt natural to just get in there, get with the apprentice, and then start preparing bodies
Yeah.
for like funerals.
Yeah.
Is that something you need to go to school for?
Yes.
Was that what the apprenticeship was? Is the
Yes. Part
schooling?
of it.
And then you also went to classes
And
and
then you
stuff?
can go to school. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, there are actual classes you had to take in order to be certified to actually work there. Is that what it is?
Yeah. You can take the classes online now.
Oh,
You can do some lab. I mean, you go in there and do labs and stuff, but it's really something that you want to definitely do first. You want to work in the industry and see if you can even, if
deal.
it's your cup of tea, because you can go through school, get all of that completed, then get out and get in the industry and be like, "Man, I can't do this."
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
So I imagine though you see obviously people who die of natural causes. That's not pretty, but then you probably have seen people who've died pretty horrifically
Oh, yeah.
there as well. I mean, how did you, at least initially, did that impact you in any kind of way, or how did you sort of get through that? And did you become desensitized after a while?
No, it was never. You hear like people, "Oh, it's just a job. It was a job." That was never my case.
Hmm.
It was always just so far. It was just so close to my heart, and yeah. So, but anyway, because I lost my mom when I was 14 years old,
Mm.
and she was sick for 3 years with cancer. So I learned a lot about death through that
Mm.
experience, and that really, but that really, when she was alive, I remember seeing a funeral procession
Mhm.
and going, "That's what I'm gonna do, mom." I was about 7. I go, "That," it went through the intersection, they had it blocked off, how they do from time to time. I said, "That's it." Pointed right there at the hearse and went, "That's it. That's what I'm gonna do."
Wow.
Yeah, so it was there before her sickness and death, though.
That's so crazy.
People always thought that, "Oh, I just did it because your mom died," and it was all this. That helps a lot. It helped a lot because I understood, better. And I grieved that for 16 years until I had a a spiritual experience
Where
at a place.
at what place?
It was a place.
Oh, not it wasn't it wasn't
It
a
was meditational.
yeah, it wasn't a one because these places are very spiritual too. These cemeteries, or what do you call it? Like the main office of the cemeteries,
The mortuary?
mortuary. Yeah, the mortuaries are spiritual places to be. There's
Sure.
a lot of energy there.
They always say that's where the light shines the brightest during the funeral, during the finale.
Mm.
It's the
Right.
mortuary, the light shines on the you don't really have closure until there's been a proper, you know,
Why do you think?
goodbye.
Why do you think that is? Do you have any like you have so much experience with it? Why do you think it is that a funeral is so important?
Oh, out of honor for sure. And so you have closure, and it's very important to have closure. That's why a funeral is finale.
Hmm.
It's and yeah, I mean, you just want to. It's heavy,
It is heavy.
It's
It is
very
heavy.
heavy.
I've gotten to
You want
go
to say
to
goodbye that's why it's like you can stay in the back if you don't want to go up to the casket.
right.
If you don't want any of that going on, you don't have to have that, but you can stand back with the flowers and the other, part of the
I've gotten
service that's going on.
I've gotten to go to some memorials that were very inspirational. When someone's lived a great life, like everybody can come up and tell all their great stories with that person, and
Yeah, their
maybe
experience.
maybe some people who haven't made as many friends in life, their funerals can be kind of more somber. But like I've been to some funerals lately where the person did so much good in the world, then you hear about all these great stories.
Yeah.
But you were the kind of the guy setting up the funerals and then consoling the people as they came in. How do you console someone?
When you're directing the funeral, you're gonna cater to the family.
Did you find that they were like upset already usually,
Yeah.
or
In
like
their own way.
and then like your job is to just be a calming presence?
Yeah, give them confidence that someone is there, you know, play the right music
Hmm.
with the lights.
Do they choose the music or do you choose
Nice.
the music?
No, I mean most of the time they do, but once in a while you just put on there's selections that are
Yeah. Did they was there ever
appropriate.
like people ever like did you say appropriate or inappropriate?
They're appropriate,
Do
but
people
they're
ever
not
like
something you're gonna sit and listen to.
did you ever see people like make any tasteless jokes at funerals?
Oh yeah.
Like what would be an
Oh
example
come
of
on, I'm gonna go through that.
what?
There's so many good ones you can look them up.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I
I,
mean, we should have people calling in
I
'cause we got
my call-in
we
show.
got
Yeah, it
so
depends
many.
on the relationship people have with the deceased. I mean, if they, don't want to feel like they want to go through that sort of sad thing, they want to make a joke about it or
Sure.
funny stories, things like that. I would imagine there's quite a bit of those.
They ever put on like very happy music and like
Oh yeah, all
yeah,
kinds of everything you
it's a
can imagine.
celebration.
It can be that way.
Yeah.
Everyone grieves in their own way. So
And are you no longer in that industry?
no,
Why'd you get
I've
out?
been for a year. Well, it was more of a. Do we talk about that?
You can talk
Anyways,
about
there's a diagnosis that I got,
Okay.
and it changed me.
So, sort of a health issue
So
then?
yeah, it's a lot of brain health.
Okay.
See, I'm really good at using words that are not really what we're talking about, but
it.
very clever
Yeah.
of what we can be talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, but
you know, without getting into names and naming,
yeah,
to get carried away and name
sure.
specific businesses and
Sure.
people,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
can't get all into that
Yeah, no,
because I'll start talking about stories like
but
really points out people because that was the best part of either the comedy. We laughed so hard. Oh my god! In the back, we go, in the back hallways. You
yeah.
had to, because you would cry every day. You just
Yeah.
had to.
So you yourself,
One point
you were
through
getting
the day.
affected by all
Yeah.
the things that you were seeing. So you were
Uh,
crying that much every day?
every day you would.
That's I mean,
There'd
because
always
like
be a
Solomon
moment.
asked, like, do you get desensitized? But like, if you're
Oh
crying,
yeah, yeah. We'll
if
Yeah.
you're
get to that
crying,
one.
you're crying every day. That means you're pretty in touch with everything that's
Yeah,
going
and
on.
it also means you have a healthy outlet every day too, so
Mhm.
it doesn't build up. Um, so it's interesting because you use words like ministry, you use words like energy. Um, I always think like buildings like sort of have, they imbue the spirit of the people who go through them. If you were to look at a funeral home, do you think it's a happy place or do you think it's a sad place overall?
Well, I mean, it just depends. It's a place of honor, first and foremost, to me,
Okay.
because you're doing an honorable service within those walls. Like, and it's a personal journey. Um, but specific questions, I don't know. I'm getting, it's like I'm just thinking of it was. I feel like very calm now with
Hmm.
all of it, and the PTSD is huge, and I have that going on really powerfully when I talk about this stuff. Um, there,
PTSD from
yeah, it's
your time in working there?
oh yeah, oh my God,
Okay.
it's right now even
Okay.
just looking around at you
Everything,
and
all these Yodas and all these
looking
bears.
around. It's pretty cool, very cool.
So then, like, just from the beginning, when you got into it, did you do it to console people, or no? To what would you say? Honor people? Did
Yeah,
was that part of the calling, was to honor people? Because
I learned.
you mentioned also like you wanted to feel like what nothingness was like. So was it kind of both?
Yeah, it kind of ties in. We'll tie it in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You wanted to honor the dead.
honor goes along with that nothingness. Yeah,
I like
like
that.
that.
I like the whole word of honor with that. I like that.
Yeah, there's so many different levels that I've found of. There's two sides to everything, like
Hmm.
hot and cold,
Hmm.
but there's so many different levels
Yeah.
of hot and cold.
Right.
You don't know where cold is beginning or where hot is ending. Warm,
Yeah.
cold, hot, warm, boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's an elusive thing. That's brilliant. It's brilliant that we have hot and cold water like that. But that's the two sides of the same thing. Hot and cold water. People would agree that, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's just on different. It's the same energy, just different. On different spectrum, really.
Hmm.
But so things like that. So when it comes to honor, that honor opens certain doors along the levels of death. You can just look at it like that. Like even a half gauge. Like you have your gauge in your car, your gases, your petrol is half full or all the way full, half full, empty.
Yeah.
Like on the half gauge, things work better because the other side, that's where you got the stuff you can't see, the energy side, the spiritual side,
Right.
the force side,
The force.
which is why I've always, from day one as a kid, looked to energy as the guiding light. Guided that way from the nothingness, from thinking of those things. Yeah. Who
Yeah. I
thinks of
was.
that? Nobody thinks of that at that age. I
I
don't know. It's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of the most fascinating parts is you were thinking about all this stuff as a kid,
Yeah.
and what's funny is the Star Wars and the Force I was watching the Yoda death scene on the way over here, but it's kind of like he becomes a Force ghost at the end, you know?
Yeah. It's cool.
But
Good stuff.
and then in episode 1 or episode 4, A New Hope, then Obi-Wan just he doesn't even die, he just becomes one with the Force. He
Disappears.
just disappears and becomes
Yeah.
one with the Force.
Very cool.
Mm.
But,
Do you feel like you found what you were looking for when you talked about wanting to know what nothingness was? Do you feel like you ultimately found it?
Yeah, I eventually did. And that's basically meditation.
Okay.
Takes you to the level and the door, right at the doorway of nothingness and all possibilities then. So if you have, you're aware of a nothingness, then you'd be aware of all possibilities, which of course is what we're seeing from day to day now, especially with AI, which I used to think AI from long ago. Thank you, AI.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
even when it first came out, I was like, that right there, that's a tool of the devil. I
mhm,
would say it to my wife at the time.
yeah,
She had a big computer set up. Her dad was a computer guy.
yeah.
And I'd be like, that is a tool of the devil.
He had
You know what I mean?
early AI technology?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
AI, but that's what I call it that. And I'd
yeah,
be like, don't get me wrong. I'm thinking every moment around any computer or any machine. I've just always been like that. It's like, oh, they're listening. Something's listening.
mhm,
Something can hear, not let alone just audible, but also, thought wise too, which leads back to, meditation again. So it has so much to do with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. That really breaks down the total truth. If you can get into that and just search deep into that and get into that groove.
The Egyptian
The
Book of the
Egyptian Book
Dead.
of the Dead. It's
Egyptian
got
Book
it
of the Dead.
all in there.
I don't know much about it.
Can you buy it on Amazon?
Oh, yeah. I'm
That's
sure it's everywhere.
okay. Yeah.
Very
So,
common.
and there's probably books that kind of dive deeper into it, but
You
ba-
don't hear a lot about that.
it's kind of no, you don't.
You
I
don't.
mean, well, we hear about it in school a little bit about the pyramids and the mummification, and then that's the Egyptian Book of the Dead because they were very into honoring their dead, and and then and then so they had like a certain relationship with that probably people have learned from over the years to there you go to
Wow.
to get in there like
Egyptian Book of the Dead,
Gnarly.
the
even the way
complete
that we
papyrus of honor.
I should make a movie of that. You know?
well they have mummy movies.
I know, but really like break this down and see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a cool series Moon Knight which had like
Oh,
the
yeah,
main
that was
Oh,
characters.
bomb.
You saw
It
that?
had the dude from Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
I saw one
Poe
episode.
yeah, I
was
forget
his
his
name.
name. But yeah, he's that one was awesome because you see these guys with the heads like that, and they're like characters in there and talking to him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was really cool.
But then they were. I mean, what do you think about the pyramids?
We go down that road.
Oh yeah, I want to.
Oh,
Were
yeah.
were those to honor the dead? The pyramids?
That's why I'm saying, like, it's always, to me, it's just simple, but past life regression has always been a thing, let alone near death experience. I have experience with that. I had that happen. Anyway, what are we going now? Wait, you asked this
I was asking about
question.
the pyramids. So,
That's right,
like,
the pyramid itself.
as they relate to death, like we could talk about the conspiracy about why they're there, who made them, and all that stuff. But like, as far as the history of the Egyptians, like, and they had like their mummies in the pyramids. Like, what was their relationship with death and with the pyramids?
I don't know. They had a lot of knowledge. I mean, they used to, have embalmers.
Right.
Used to do incredible things through mummification. I mean, there's modern mummification available today, and it's just back then. I mean, they did a good job. I mean, it was very compassionate and caring, but it was deep energy back then.
It would be
What
like
they
for
would
the
look
richest
for.
of the rich, right?
I'm not.
Like the kings and the
It was definitely a
pharaohs.
luxury.
Yeah,
There's no doubt.
because it's expensive. Would that be the case? It's a very
Back
expensive
back
process.
then, I don't know how they all fit together, but I wouldn't think. But like I said, it was a luxury to have that done.
Oh yeah, you got to build a whole tomb.
There's
Yeah,
There's the
tomb,
cost right there.
and then
but
the sarcophagus around them.
yeah,
Yeah, that too. And you got to hire a painter, an artist to paint the thing.
yeah, it was a good tribute. Amazing.
Then a bunch of strong guys who willing to get walled up in there with you.
Yeah, but
Do
yeah, the
you
most
trip
amazing.
out about like death? Do you ever worry about dying?
No, I know that so much more can continue
Yeah,
through Neuralink,
yeah,
especially. I'm very into this, and controlling things Bluetooth with your actual brain
right.
is just ultimate, and it's so awesome to me. All of that. That's what I strive for, is to keep the consciousness going, and just like anything else, put into different
Well,
upload computer and
we had
into
this
a cyborg
we had this
like Darth
conversation
Vader.
we had this conversation
That's what
recently
that
too,
does.
but like that's kind of like the physical, like actually taking our brain and putting it into a machine, but then like you're not so much you don't believe it so much in the spiritual of like the consciousness goes on.
Yeah, that is it though.
There's that
But it
too.
has to hang on to the memories. It has to know. That's why mummification was so important, so it would hang on to the memories, and you don't forget who you are, as you reincarnate.
Right. So in general, unless you believe in like an afterlife or specific spiritual um religion, then you don't think that like you and yourself are going to go on to the next life. or you would even reincarnate, you become someone different. But even
That's the problem.
you talked about previous lives already on the show today.
That's
So,
well, I mean, that's easy for me because that's just how I've always been. The first time I saw the pyramids, the three on TV, I remember it right, perfect right now.
uh-huh.
The back of the '70s, we had a big old giant '70s TV. It was dope,
Yeah.
and I just looked at that and I just pointed. I said, "That's all you need to know." You know, like my family is all kicking back, and it's like, "That's
Mm.
all you need to know," which was for me. You know, it's like that's all you need to know. There's so much that I mean, it's just. I mean, there's nothing on earth like them.
The pyramids?
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's perfect. There's more than, what meets the eye, and I just knew it. It was just ingrained in my spirit. I just knew it. My cellular makeup,
Mhm.
just
Oh.
it was very there's something very, very magical about
Yeah, as
that.
far as I know, like, pyramids haven't really been well explained as far as, like, in our understanding, like, how they were made, why they were made. But, so it's kinda like, I don't know, they seem like they're a big mystery, but people make theories about them. But, um, Solomon, what do you think about the pyramids?
Well, I mean, I think they're mysterious. I think it's just a testament to the people who were there. But I mean, I have a feeling they served more than what they ended up serving. I mean, just homes of dead people. I mean, they were symbols of the area and all of that. But I wanted to ask Mike a question about past lives. Do you have maybe any recollection or inkling of either who you were in a past life or where you lived or anything that you did or experienced?
Yeah, like so I brought up near death experience.
Hmm.
And then I've had a couple different surgeries where I've gone into meditation and then gone places.
Okay.
Um
Like astral projection.
the main yeah,
Yeah.
like we were talking about remote viewing and things like that.
Right. Right.
Um yeah, I mean it's heavy, the energy's heavy.
Yeah.
For sure, but those I mean the pyramids are has to do with total energy. And that's why there's no hieroglyphs in there. So that's a perfect clue, but it also goes with that Egyptian Book of the Dead.
There's a lot of knowledge in that Book of the Dead.
There is a lot.
I'm
There's
I'm
something
I don't know,
a lot going on there.
a lot of people would be almost, like,
Yeah,
afraid to even go down that path.
they are. They should fear.
Should they?
That's
Should
why
they
I mean
fear
they
it?
should make movies out of it. It's the ultimate horror.
Is it scary? Is it something to be feared?
I think most people do fear it.
I think maybe they fear it because it's just, like, the truth of life. Even, like, death, it's like people just fear it because they don't know, it's the unknown.
It's just too the pyramids are too powerful.
Too powerful
Too
to
powerful to
confront.
deny.
To
They
confront.
always have been. I mean, they hold on to their beliefs over there. And just I even being a kid, I was like, "You said who built these? They were doing what? Where? How? Are
Mhm.
you sure?" They do it. I saw the other day they were trying to lift a bit of stone as heavy as your like with the common stones, a little bit bigger than the pyramid. And they had three loaders, like the giant cat loaders, not like the little lame ones,
Mhm.
like the big gnarly ones. And they couldn't even move it at
3 people
all.
3
They had
people?
three loaders, three cats.
I don't know.
Loader? You
Oh,
know what
like
that is?
machines.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
machines. The
Yeah.
okay.
big yellow. They had 3 of
I
them
thought you
on
meant
this.
real cats. I didn't know what you
They
meant.
had 3 of them
Meow.
on the big block,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. So
couldn't even
they're
couldn't
too
even
heavy, and, like,
couldn't do it, couldn't move it, there's
you can
forget it.
imagine Joe Rogan's podcast could tell us more about this, but, like, they would, like, put stuff on, like, rollers and roll them.
Oh, man, it's so lame,
They'd have to
dude.
roll them across the
So
whole
you don't believe
desert.
that theory, huh?
I mean, when you come out on trash day,
Mhm.
I mean, it's hard enough to wheel the buckets out there,
Mm.
you know?
Okay, so then
You know what I'm saying? It's
you're
like, let
suggesting
alone
alien.
wheeling
You're,
we yeah.
you're suggesting aliens then.
I'm suggesting advanced technology.
Got it.
For sure. There's no denying because I grew up out in the wide open spaces
Hmm.
by the mountains, but also out in the flats and the plains. And man, I saw beautiful things growing up in that clear sky. I was out in Colorado, and I would see UFOs all the time.
Wow.
But, even then, yeah, and then I've got one actually on video that I'm waiting for someone to be able to enhance it,
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's great, it's
Another
brilliant.
grainy UFO video?
It's not grainy, no, it's
We'll
amazing.
give it to Solomon and he can zoom in on it.
Yeah, that'd be
Uh,
awesome. I'm waiting for someone to be able to analyze it because it is you have to zoom in. But it's brilliant, and, just all those experiences like that, and it was, anything that was open, but they had the shows called In Search Of, and it had Leonard Nimoy as
host?
host,
In
and
search
it
of.
was
Do you
called In
remember that?
Search
Do you
Of.
remember that one, Solomon?
Yeah, vaguely. I know there's another one where there's a guy who searches for stuff, but he never finds anything.
Yeah.
It's one of the newer shows on TV.
But it was back in
He never finds
79, it
anything.
was probably 79, 9.
I,
It
I'm
was
I'm
probably
open I'm open to all possibilities that there's aliens. I don't necessarily ever seen them myself, so I'm open to seeing them. But what about you, Solomon? You believe in the aliens?
Hmm. It's hard to say. I think I would probably take a more spiritual belief before I went down the alien route,
Yeah.
meaning like, I would believe in angels and, life after death,
Right.
past life before I would go down because I think even that can explain a lot of things. For instance, if
Mm,
let's say for instance if you die and they say to you, "Okay, hey, and rather than you have a job in heaven, we want to keep you here for a little bit. So take a vacation, take a week, go see your family, go attend your funeral, whatever, and come back here. And we need you to be, a guardian angel to this kid in Sri Lanka for a
okay.
while." And so then you become that. And I would believe more things like that than to believe out and out aliens from outer space are coming to visit us. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
now, that being said, I'm on board with what you're saying about new technology, advanced technology. I believe it's here, and I
Right.
believe it's being rolled out. I mean, you look at how fast AI has, just
Yeah.
proliferated society.
Yeah.
It's
Well.
insane how quickly that's happened. So that's where I'm at.
Right. Yeah. Well, that we're talking about advanced technology. Like basically, they've been advancing technology behind the scenes for so long, and then they're only like rolling it out to us slowly by slowly. But Michael is, advanced technology that the pyramids were built. That was thousands of years ago. So that means that there would have been aliens,
Or
advanced beings.
advanced beings.
or a
Just
more
you got
advanced society that went away.
you can
Hmm.
have I mean, I've always said you can have we have advanced technology, but it
Yes,
doesn't mean that we are advanced.
I like it when you say that.
It doesn't mean we're advanced beings, but we have
Yeah,
advanced technology that,
because
at the palm of your hand, you have endless information to, you know
meaning that in our society there's people who are smart enough to make advanced technology, but then to the commoner, not every person is super smart and know how the technology works. So the same would be true for aliens.
exactly.
They could have been given some advanced technology, and even our technology we have could be from another source.
Absolutely.
But the point is that like they could just when a lower intelligence life form is given a technology, then they can use it for whatever they want. So it's like basically like if you ever saw aliens and they were doing the wrong thing, you wouldn't blame them and even say that they created the technology. You would say they just got a hold of the technology somehow,
Yeah. A lot
which
of
is a
that going on.
crazy concept.
A lot of that going
And either way, no matter how advanced it is, they still have to dumb it down so the average person can use it. So that's what he means. We don't have to be an advanced society to use advanced technology.
on. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we don't have to be advanced beings.
right.
Or like if there
There
were
are advanced
or if
beings
there were like angels or spirits or ghosts
like
or
that.
and like a ghost, like anybody can be a ghost after they die, then like they have advanced power, but they wouldn't all necessarily use it for good purposes.
Sounds familiar.
Like that would be like a poltergeist, I guess. Now they're using their powers for bad.
Mm.
A lot of that going on.
Do you have any experiences with bad spirits?
Oh, yeah.
Bad spirits in the mix?
In the course of
Yes.
your work,
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
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 you have a story?
Yeah, extremely. Oh, I have more of that. I have a whole venture. and it was like a possession that just didn't stop giving. And we discussed this through this very strong, just I would call it through, it was through telepathic nature. Through I talk about this um, the atomic structure of the universe,
Hmm.
atomic structure of creation. I talk about this because anything's possible. See through that, and that's where your nothingness is as well.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I encountered energies radiating from I call them loved ones from bodies,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and real like force field almost. This one experience. I had to go over there and box someone for a cremation. And I went over there and it was literally just, I mean, like you take two magnets, flip them around and try to put them together. I mean, you
Oh, wow.
feel that. Yeah. You felt that from two magnets. You felt that invisible. I mean, just so strong that, which is so cool. I love that. And it was like that. It was rejecting me and my physical.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe you. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where and why, but I mean, I could imagine that happening to somebody who is dealing with energies that I've never encountered, you know?
Yeah, there was a lot going on there. But that would be I mean, I would put it down as evil, but a different level, I always go with the level. And that's another one. You have good and evil, it's just different levels,
Do
layers
you
of
believe in
s
good and evil?
energy. I believe the way that we have to live in society and the way that we are now, of course, you have to be aware of all of those things. But when it comes down to the minute of it, it's about energy. And like I
Yes.
said, it's just if you learn the energies without the names
Right.
that we've given all this
Right.
stuff,
Right.
you wouldn't know. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't. It wouldn't matter. There wouldn't be any names of feeling love or
Right.
feeling, yeah, or feeling, the different energies that you can come up with.
It's just a feeling. It's just a feeling. It doesn't That's kind of where I go with the like not believing in good and evil thing is like it's just there could be a positive and a negative, but that doesn't mean that it's good and bad and good and evil. Or like you and I talk about, it could be described as just life and death. So like
Sure,
the evil and bad is leading you more towards death, and good and positivity is leading you more towards life and more creation of life. So it's like just
that's
these are
the
just
two
energies
sides.
with different names, but then you have to sit there and like our human brains like just put words and put judgments on things, but they're more just like things that are happening around us.
Yeah, that's where the two sides come in again.
Yeah.
You know, but if you just sit in a meditation and feel energies and get to know um, the just a serenity, you know,
Serenity.
during a meditation is a really good thing. But meditation opens up lots of different levels of many. With me, it was really just taking me far, but it's definitely it's very heavy.
It is
It's
heavy.
very personal journey. It's very it's dangerous in a lot of ways for
Well,
me.
I'll ask the kind of hypothetical question first, which is like, if you encountered a negative spirit, what would be your advice to like to kind of deal with it?
Yeah, simple. First off, don't battle.
Yeah.
Don't try to battle. Don't try to. It'll arouse something in your ego to be like, all right,
Yeah, you're giving it
I'm
more
gonna, I'm gonna
reality.
take this. Yeah, I'm gonna take this
Well, when
on
I
like
mean, I
it's
feel like most
nothing.
people just start running. You're gonna run, or you're. I mean, you could fight or flight, I guess, but
Yeah, fight or flight. But yeah, if you're really trapped by that, you're the best thing to do is communicate, but and be very humble because it's way more powerful than you are.
right, it's just like, please let me go. Or I mean,
Just
like
try to communicate.
pray to your higher power and hope that you get out of there alive.
Yeah, just
I
try to
guess it depends on
communicate.
the form, you know? I mean, if it's a big cloud of nothingness or if it's some, imbued object, uh, I guess that would be, because I would think most people would say, just like, don't believe in it. Like, when you believe in it, you give it power. You know, and then you make it real. But
I believe in that. Would you
Just turns the lights on.
what does
It's
the believing in it
yeah, it's
turns the
just
lights on? So you could like stop believing it, it'll go away almost,
I mean, you are where your attention is. So if you
right?
put your attention on something, it's like turning the lights on in this room.
That is
The
my
lights are off, turn the
yeah.
lights on. You're giving it attention, therefore becomes real.
That's what I say, and I talked. Oh, I never probably talked about this on the show, but like when I moved to Vegas for a while, and I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was talking to like an UFO guy who was talking about all his experience in the UFO, and then all of a sudden I realized like, oh, I'm only like 2 hours away from Area 51, and then I just started to think like, there's aliens outside my window right now because I was giving it so much attention. But if I just don't ever think about aliens, then I'm not going to like make them a reality. But if I sit there and think about them, then I'm going to be looking for them and I'm going to believe they're right outside my door, you know? So like I kind of have that relationship with reality and aliens and spirits and like you're saying, like it all comes down to belief and if I believe they're going to be there or not.
Yeah.
going back to evil, I ultimately think evil, like if you talk about everything being in levels, I think evil is a combination of low morality and low empathy. So you have those two, right? Where you just really don't have feelings or care for anyone else. And
Yes.
then you have low morality, meaning you don't care how you treat other people. That's what can result in an evil person in a given situation,
Yeah.
you
So
know?
lack of consciousness and a lack of empathy
Yeah,
or no.
absolutely. Well, lack of morality. So it's like, you can just be a depraved individual
Right.
and no sense of empathy. Yeah. I think that can look like evil.
Yeah, or like if you had those two together and then you had any empathy, if you were able to tap into any amount of empathy, which they do say that even, some people, sociopaths and psychopaths, they could feel like a low level of empathy, like, but
Right.
it's very shallow, low feelings, but they're very shallow. But if you could just, they would need to be amplified some, but it's like when they care about somebody close to them, then the empathy would stop them from hurting that person.
Yeah. And think about the converse, right? High morality and high empathy. What does that make you? You know?
Whoa, Michael? I'm gonna think about that for a
Wait,
second. So if somebody has high morality, they're always gonna want to do the right thing, and they have high empathy. They're always thinking about others. They're gonna want to do the most good they can do, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna want to go out into the world.
They're gonna see other people do good.
Yeah, I want to do good in the world, but I still, you still, you're lazy or you don't want to. You have fear. You still have human traits, so like, there's always blocks. It's like about like giving all your like we have a certain amount of money, so we don't just like give all of our money to charity, you know what I mean?
the essentials.
You have your essentials, but like even if you had like the goal to help as many people as possible, like you still have limits. And what I struggle with is like not enabling, like making sure you don't give somebody, beer money, you know what I mean?
That's a hard balance.
I've been seeing those people, those homeless people with the signs a lot lately. Who? Why lie? I need beer.
Yeah.
I've seen. I mean, like that's a joke you see, but like I've seen two of these in recent memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seen that.
And they do it thinking they'll get a laugh out of somebody and get some beer money at least once a day from somebody who hasn't seen it before.
And I saw a guy on the side and gave him a buck, and then after that, I saw his sign afterwards. I was
Mm,
like, oh, that guy was gonna buy beer with my money. Oh shoot.
yeah.
But
Yeah. So, one more quick question for Michael. When you were part of would you call yourself, uh, what would you say? Just a funeral home technician or
No, your funeral director or
funeral director?
embalmer,
Did you
mortician or undertaker.
did that impact your dating life at all? Were you married when you started, or because I can imagine going on a date and what do you do for a living? And you have to tell that story. How did that work out for you?
Well, it was easy for me because I actually, I lived up above a mortuary. Part of our firm,
Oh,
part of it, one of them that we had, but I lived up above it in an apartment,
hmm
and that's where I I've got engaged to be married, so I moved my fiance into the mortuary.
Oh my
And
god.
yeah, it would trip. It didn't hit her, she didn't it didn't impact her until she actually moved in there. It was super gothic place. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah.
And and yeah, so she was just it hit her hard one night when she was just like in convulsions. I
Oh,
was like, well, that's the power of death for you.
was it almost like was was it al was it almost like she felt like it was haunted, the place?
She just got hit by a wave, man. Just
Of
standing there
energy
and
of
out of
energy, like,
nowhere.
kinda like of energy, though.
You're chilling looking for seashells down there at the
Yeah.
wedge, and wave creeps out of nowhere and just smashes you.
So did she
It was
say
like that. That's why she's in convulsions.
I'm out of here?
No, no, she stuck around for quite an amazing journey.
Cool.
For 10 years, that was neat.
At that same place, or did you guys go?
We were there for
Yeah,
a while, but
you found another place that wasn't at
it
a
was always
mortuary?
it was always good times.
Now, did you
Great
do
question.
anything in the mortuary to sort of ward off bad spirits, sage, crosses, any kind of any kind of things to ward off anything evil?
No, because I was always just universal.
Uh-huh.
So all the energy is one, but very powerful and you learn a lot. But yeah,
Hmm.
there's
Did
peace in it now.
I like to talk about, like, I even yeah, just about, like, keeping a good attitude, like, through death. Like you said, like, you could just sit around and cry every day, but, like, it's better to probably find the humor in it and everything.
Oh yeah, I'm always thinking of funny things. So humor is brilliant for. I mean, you have comedy and tragedy.
Yeah.
The little, the mass.
The
I always say, the mass. You see the
Oh,
ones
yeah,
that
yep,
have the
yep, the
comedy
draw
and
yeah,
tragedy.
happy, sad.
So I always just say, out of tragedy comes comedy,
Right.
which is always the funniest thing. So I have a very dark sense of humor.
Mm.
I have to censor it all the time.
Yeah, and
Oh yeah,
how about, like, other, mortuary friends? Do they kinda have good sense of humors usually?
they're pretty good. They're on Facebook, but I mean, yeah, I don't know, not as good as when I was. I mean, I'm always making up funny stuff, so it was just part of my nature, and it worked out really good. But yeah, oh yeah, we had good times. Yeah, a lot of care,
A lot of care for
care and
each other
compassion.
care for each
Yes,
other and care
yes,
for
caring people
all
beyond.
the people who would come in there, and
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's like
Yeah, care and compassion is first and foremost.
yeah,
If you didn't have that energy to protect you, there's nothing you couldn't do it. You can't survive.
care and compassion. That's what
Care
it
and
all comes down to
compassion,
in the
it's
end,
like
huh?
shields.
Shields. Wow.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
pretty good stuff.
Empathy,
Algorithm.
algor
Empathy.
empathy for each other. And then when someone passes,
ESP.
ESP, when someone passes, then do you ever, like, maintain a relationship with somebody who comes in and out of the mortuary, or is it kinda like just kinda in and out?
What do you mean? Like living or dead?
Like, oh, I mean, living people.
Yeah, I mean, you make your friendships.
Yeah, like, they would, like they would see you as somebody who really helped them along, like, "Oh, we really appreciate that guy."
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, like, 'cause you
There's no slacking.
had so many people through there, they
No
probably
slack.
remember you and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a major I mean, I would yeah, you would remember the person who, did your someone very close to you's funeral and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but,
Done
so
friends, done family,
friends, family,
all that stuff.
and then when,
Really hard on you. Not a good thing to do.
yeah, but then it all ties back to the spiritual, huh?
Always. Right back to the nothingness and all possibilities, positive and negative
That's
energy.
Nothingness,
Cause and effect.
nothingness, and all possibilities.
Nothingness and all possibility. It's also negative and positive energy too. So it's deep.
Nothingness.
It's not my,
What? It's not your what?
it's not. I didn't make the take up, but it's just real. It's
No, no, I know, but it's
real
like
info.
you're you're zoned into it. You're on the frequencies.
Yeah,
You're tuned into it. You're intuitive.
yeah. I've learned a lot through these energies.
Um, but yeah, they talk about that in Buddhism, but like everything is nothing. So like what? How is that possible? What, like if you were to describe it to my
That's the
audience,
ultimate paradox.
right? And that is what that's just what it is. It's just everything is nothing, and for that reason, nothing is also everything.
There's just all possibilities, and the nothingness
When you, when you say all
is how
possibilities,
you
do you
look up
mean
on
infinite dimensions?
nothingness.
Infinite dimensions?
Like I said, all
All
possibilities.
possibility, infinite
Anything's
dimensions.
possible.
That's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Well, I think we came to a lot of life's answers here. That's what I'm here to do on this show is to
Good times.
crack the secrets of the universe. I do it with my friends. I do it with my friend Michael here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I do it with I'll do it next week with my cousin Patrick. We're going to talk about the egg theory.
Oh yeah.
Do you know about the egg theory?
But the one where you hold it in the palm of your hand, you can't break it.
That theory? No, that
That's not a theory. That's actually a. I've broken that.
the egg theory is that like we're all one consciousness. It's kind of
Yeah.
like just uh
Combined consciousness
reincarnating over and over and over again all human life. Like what would you say about that?
for sure.
Ooh.
You get in that old
I believe
trap.
that on here.
You got to get out. You got to escape it. It's like Matrix. It is real.
And then when cuz you were talking about the atomic structure,
Yeah.
you were talking about remote viewing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And like I don't think anybody watching this would know what remote viewing is, but that's when you can jump from your consciousness to someone else's consciousness and
It's deep.
see through their eyes. So remote viewing, and then there's conspiracies about there's certain people in the world who can sit around and jump from their consciousness to another consciousness.
Frequencies. Yeah.
And how would they do that? But it's like
Frequency.
if they knew how to do it through the atomic structure, they knew how to if they knew that we're all one mind or collective consciousness, then they can tie together with that's how you could see through someone else's eyes.
Yeah.
And with all possibilities, you would jump from universe to universe. You could go look in a universe that you're not even in and go have a dream, we could get into the dream realm because
Oh.
like when you start traveling in your mind through dreams or through imagination or through astral projection, you might who knows if you're in this dimension, who knows if what you're seeing is real or spiritual, or you don't even know what you're seeing at a certain point. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. All possibilities. I
Have
agree
you
on your
do
perspective.
you know what how much do you know about astral projection? You've done some of that?
I've had dreams
Uh-huh.
a lot.
Yeah.
I've never specifically tried to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't try to mess with any of these energies
Yeah.
because it's real
Yes.
and it's not something to be you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not voodoo, it's not magic. I mean, it
Yeah.
is these things for real.
Yeah.
But you got to take those, the names off of them because it is real energy and you can goof around with things and
What about for this remote viewing?
learn
Like if
learn
someone's
things the hard way.
if this is a conspiracy that like people are able to jump from consciousness to consciousness and for personal gain,
Tap in.
they're tapping into something for personal gain, that would be messing with energies that's gonna
The
come back on
laws
them
of the
in some
universe. You really can
Actions
do
and
that.
consequences.
You got it going on if you can do
if
that.
they can do what?
You got it going on if you can do that. But good luck trying to control all
No.
of that.
Well, I mean, yeah, so
Yeah.
when we talk about cause and effect, and when you talk about energies, when you start messing with the wrong energies, you might have bad effects.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's even like it's the plot of movies. It's kind of like Pet Cemetery or something like that, where like you try to bring something back to life, and then you get what's coming to you. But like I think it's a spiritual truth too. Is like you start messing with the wrong energies, and it's kind of like it's true. I feel like it's true.
Totally.
So is that in the Book of the Dead? Cause and effect?
It might be.
It might be.
It could be in there.
Well, that's
That's
the
some
book
good stuff.
recommendation today is the
That's
book of the
something.
Book of the Dead.
It exists.
And do you have any questions for me?
No, man. I'll tell you what, it's a good little gig you got. It was fun.
It's
Thanks for inviting me.
nice little gig.
Yeah.
We got into some deep stuff, and I make these shows because I have a
Deep
desire.
dive.
Exactly. I have a desire to inspire. So I only make these shows to try to that somebody hears something that'll help them in their journey, and then they can open their mind. I also feel like I'm here to open minds when it
Yeah.
comes to because somebody could not believe in any of this stuff. What would your advice be to somebody who
Through
doesn't?
their experience
What would you believe? What would you tell somebody who doesn't
becomes a
believe?
perspective, and that'll be their truth. Until you experience something, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
people
have to
can't tell you.
experience it.
Yeah,
You can sit here all day and go
yeah,
like, "Oh my god, this chocolate is so good."
yeah.
I said, "I got chocolate. See, I got it's so good." And if you never taste that chocolate, you'll never know.
Right.
It doesn't matter what I describe and what's going on. I could write books about it
Mm-hmm.
for thousands of years, but
Yeah,
until you experience it for real,
yeah.
then you'll know it's real. But when you experience these things for real, you definitely will become a believer.
Right. Well,
Yeah. Or you'll be so frightened. I mean, there's a lot of superstitious people, and believe me, there are real these things are real. And when you encounter them, you will turn the other way and fight and flight. But when you turn around and try to communicate with these energies,
yeah,
like what we were talking about, what do you do if they try to talk to you or reach
sure.
out to you? Try to communicate.
Yeah,
Don't try to battle because you will lose
yeah.
no
Well,
matter what.
I I feel like I have just enough of an open mind and I've seen enough that I do think a lot of this stuff has real reality in it, even if it sounds crazy and some people wouldn't believe it. I feel like it's always important to keep an open mind and and that's how you're gonna see stuff too. That's how you're gonna see the truth is to have an open mind to it.
Crazy is the truth. Conspiracy is the truth. Thank
So
you.
well on that note, we're gonna wrap up the Brandon K show. Brandon K show is brought to
Brandon K.
you
Brandon K.
by Liquid Death.
That's right. Noin. Noin, 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 noin.
By Giftiply, sponsored by Giftiply, charity wrapping paper.
Wrapping paper.
Thank you for joining me, Mr. Michael.
That's it. Thank you very
We're
much.
gonna have you on
It's
again
an
here.
honor.
We're gonna have you on here again soon. You're a great guest.
And the
And
liquid death is now 999. The
this,
can.
and there's some conspiracy to
There
this.
is a lot going on there, which
You
is
look up.
I find awesome.
This is actually
Very spooky.
it. Actually means the mark of the beast. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a nice
Oh,
day.
that's Hebrew 666.